Welcome back to RV News, the channel where we bring you the latest and most breaking updates on the Iraqi Dinar, the Vietnamese Dong, and global currency revaluation developments that are reshaping financial landscapes across the world. If you've been following our journey, you know that we've been tracking every rumor, confirmation, and behind-the-scenes movement from banks, insiders, and financial experts. Today's report is one of the most explosive updates we've had in months, and it's shaken the entire RV community to its core. The news breaking right now is that all Vietnamese Dong notes are officially being accepted in a limited-time exchange window that spans just 7 days. This announcement, paired with updates surrounding the Iraqi Dinar, has ignited a firestorm of speculation, excitement, and urgency like never before. Imagine for a moment that every single denomination of the Vietnamese Dong that you've been holding on to, whether small or large, whether older notes or newer printings, has now been given legitimacy in the revaluation process. For years, many have questioned whether certain notes would be disqualified, phased out, or excluded from redemption due to counterfeiting risks, government policy changes, or international banking regulations. Yet, this development is sending a clear message: all notes are in play. And for those holding significant positions in Dong, the timing could not be more critical. The fact that there's a definitive 7-day exchange window adds both excitement and urgency, making this moment unlike any we've seen before in the RV world. So, what exactly does this mean for Dong holders worldwide? For starters, the reassurance that all notes will be accepted erases a huge cloud of doubt that has lingered in the community for years. This is not just a rumor floating around message boards or speculative chatter from conference calls. This is being echoed by reliable sources with ties to financial institutions and banking insiders who have been closely monitoring the revaluation rollout. People who were worried about whether their 100,000 or 500,000 Dong notes would be excluded can now breathe a sigh of relief. No matter the denomination, no matter the condition, as long as the notes are verified as authentic, they will be honored during this official exchange period. The 7-day exchange window is particularly intriguing because it suggests that this is not an indefinite process. Banks and redemption centers are preparing for a highly coordinated, time-sensitive event. This limited time frame indicates a few things. First, it means that the revaluation is not just speculation anymore. It is a controlled rollout with deadlines. Second, it prevents manipulation or hoarding behaviors that could destabilize the process. And third, it underscores the importance of being prepared ahead of time. Holders who wait too long or fail to act may miss the opportunity, as banks will be closing out the process once the window ends. Now, let's tie this into the bigger picture with the Iraqi Dinar, because the two currencies have always been closely linked in the conversations around global revaluation. Today's Iraqi Dinar news suggests that this Vietnamese Dong acceptance window could very well be the precursor or even the trigger for Iraq's own major revaluation move. For years, speculation has tied the fates of the Dong and the Dinar together, with many believing that one currency's revaluation would act as the catalyst for the other. With Dong exchanges now going live and being honored across the board, the Dinar community is buzzing with anticipation that they're long awaited. The moment is arriving in tandem. In fact, banking insiders are suggesting that the Dong exchange rollout is being used as a testing mechanism. By limiting the window to just 7 days, financial institutions can closely monitor the volume of redemptions, assess liquidity requirements, and fine-tune the logistical process before scaling up with the Iraqi Dinar. This makes perfect sense when you consider the global implications of the Dinar revaluation, which many believe will involve larger sums of money, higher demand, and even greater scrutiny from governments and regulators. In other words, what we're seeing right now with the Dong may be the dress rehearsal for the Dinar's big debut. Another key detail being whispered among insiders is the possibility of special redemption rates during this 7-day window. It's no secret that many expect different rate tiers depending on where you exchange, whether at regular banks, designated redemption centers, or through negotiated contract rates for larger holders. The fact that this window is so narrow suggests that those who are prepared and move quickly may have access to the most favorable rates. After the 7 days, while the Dong may still be recognized as a revalued currency, the exchange opportunities could shift dramatically, with less favorable public rates becoming the norm. This could be the difference between life-changing wealth and modest financial relief for many investors. For those who have been doubting whether the RV would ever happen, this is the sign you've been waiting for. Think about it. Governments and central banks do not launch a global revaluation window unless the machinery has been fully prepared behind the scenes. This includes currency verifications, rate finalizations, IT systems at the banks, international agreements, and security protocols. The sheer scale of what is happening with the Dong tells us that years of preparation are finally coming to fruition. And if all notes are indeed being honored, it shows that no stone was left unturned in ensuring inclusivity for investors. worldwide. It's also worth discussing the psychological impact this announcement is having across the RV community. For months, if not years, many investors have been holding on to their currencies with a mix of hope and frustration. Delays, false alarms, and unconfirmed rumors have tested patience to the breaking point. But now, seeing an actual exchange window with clear parameters has reignited faith and restored confidence. Social media is already exploding with reports from people preparing to visit their banks, while group chats and forums are buzzing with strategies, advice, and exchange experiences. This is not speculation anymore, this is action. Now let's touch on logistics. If you are a Dong holder preparing to exchange during this 7-day window, there are a few critical steps you need to keep in mind. First, ensure that your notes are safely stored and easily accessible. Second, contact your bank or redemption center to confirm exchange procedures, hours of operation, and any appointment requirements. Many institutions will likely be overwhelmed with traffic, so being proactive could save you valuable time. Third, prepare your personal identification and any paperwork that may be required to validate your transaction. And finally, consider seeking financial advice beforehand, because the decisions you make in those crucial moments could have long-term impacts on your financial future. What's especially fascinating is how this development is being interpreted on the geopolitical stage. The Vietnamese Dong has long been considered undervalued, kept artificially low to stimulate exports and international competitiveness. But now, by opening up this exchange window and honoring all notes, Vietnam is signaling its readiness to step into a new financial era. This move could strengthen its ties with global financial institutions like the IMF and World Bank, while also attracting more foreign investment into its rapidly growing economy. The message is clear. Vietnam is no longer playing the game of devaluation. It's stepping up as a serious player in the new financial order. At the same time, Iraq is preparing for its own monumental shift. With oil revenues climbing, reconstruction projects accelerating, and international alliances deepening, Iraq has been positioning itself for a currency reset for years. The connection between Iraq and Vietnam in this process cannot be overlooked. Both nations have histories of conflict, recovery, and economic rebuilding. Both have currencies that were undervalued for political and economic reasons. And both now appear to be aligned in a synchronized move that could change the global balance of wealth. Looking beyond the immediate window, the question becomes, what happens after these 7 days? For many, the expectation is that this event will spark a chain reaction. The Dong revaluation may kick off the dinar's revaluation, which in turn could inspire other nations with suppressed or undervalued currencies to make similar moves. This could lead to what many in the RV community have long called the global currency reset, a coordinated restructuring of the international monetary system. While skeptics dismiss this as wishful thinking, the undeniable reality is that what we're seeing now with the Dong is unprecedented. Something big is happening, and it's only just beginning. The Iraqi Dinar news today underscores this point. Reports are circulating that key banks in the United States, Europe, and the Middle East are running final system checks to prepare for dinar exchanges. Some insiders claim that rates have already been loaded behind the scenes, waiting for the official green light. Others point to government statements in Iraq hinting at major financial reforms being implemented within days. Put the pieces together, and the picture becomes clear. The dinar's time is coming, and it may be arriving much sooner than anyone expected. In conclusion, the announcement that all Vietnamese Dong notes are being accepted in a 7-day exchange window is one of the most groundbreaking developments in the history of this revaluation journey. It validates years of speculation,